For more than a decade, the Western autonomy industry built its promise on one fragile assumption that a car could not truly drive itself unless the road had already been digitized before the journey began. Billions were poured into high-definition maps, centimeter-level road scans, satellite-linked databases, and pre-rendered lanes that told the vehicle where reality was supposed to be. But that model had a hidden weakness. The real road does not wait for a database update. A work crew shifts a lane overnight. A city repaints an intersection. A rural highway loses clear markings after a storm. Suddenly, the machine is not reading the world anymore. It is arguing with an outdated memory of the world. That is why the 2026 GAC Trumpchi S7 matters. Not as another Chinese SUV, not as a styling exercise, but as a direct strike against the HD map doctrine itself. Its map-free AI driving system suggests something far more disruptive. The next phase of autonomy may not belong to vehicles that remember the road, but to vehicles that can understand it in real time. And if that shift holds a major pillar of Western self-driving strategy, has just been put on trial. The core disruption inside the GAC Trumpchi S7 is not that it has more sensors, more screens, or another driver assistance label. The real disruption is that it changes the basic philosophy of machine navigation. A map-dependent vehicle behaves like it is following invisible rails. It trusts that the world outside the windshield will match the world already stored in its digital memory. That works beautifully in a clean simulation. It becomes far more dangerous when the road becomes messy, temporary, unfinished, or politically underfunded. The S7 attacks that weakness by moving toward map-free L2++ autonomy. Instead of treating the road as a pre-written script, it treats the environment as a live physical event. The vehicle reads raw spatial data, calculates movement, identifies drivable space, and builds a temporary local understanding of the road moment by moment. In plain terms, it is not asking, what did the map say this lane should look like? It is asking, what is physically happening in front of me right now? That difference is enormous. At a chaotic city intersection, the system does not need to panic because a lane marking is faded or a construction barrier was moved yesterday. It can evaluate the angle of surrounding vehicles, the flow of traffic, the empty asphalt ahead, the location of pedestrians, and the possible paths through the space. Frame by frame, it creates its own local vector map. This is the shift from rule obedience to spatial interpretation. For American roads, that matters. A vehicle crossing rural Texas, navigating snow-damaged streets in Michigan, or entering a temporary construction zone outside Los Angeles cannot afford to depend only on perfect map memory. The United States does not have perfect roads. It has roads that change, decay, flood freeze, get rebuilt, and get marked inconsistently from state to state. That is why map-free autonomy is not just a software feature. It is a structural challenge to the Western belief that autonomy must begin with the map. Once the S7 stops depending on pre-mapped roads, the next problem becomes even more human. How does an autonomous vehicle tell the world around it what it is about to do? This is where GAC turns a styling element into a traffic control instrument. In the old automotive playbook, exterior lighting was mostly decorative or functional. Headlights helped the driver see. Tail lamps helped other drivers react. A light bar was usually a branding signature, not a communication system. The S7 changes that logic. Across the front, fascia sits a 2.618-meter lighting matrix produced through an extremely demanding 3,300-ton dual-color injection molding process. That is not just a design flourish. It is a manufacturing statement. A component this wide has to resist distortion, heat expansion alignment errors, and optical inconsistency across the entire front surface. Inside that structure are 2,248 individually controlled smart microLED units. Each one can be treated like a pixel. Instead of merely shining light forward, the vehicle can use the front of its body as an active display surface, controlled by the central computing system through high-speed pulse width modulation. The result is an external human-machine interface. The S7 can project directional intent pedestrian warnings and braking signals onto the asphalt in a dense city environment that matters more than it sounds. A human driver can wave, make eye contact, or hesitate in a way pedestrians understand. An autonomous machine has no face, no hands, and no natural body language, so the vehicle has to create a new language. When a pedestrian steps off the curb, the car does not simply stop like a silent machine. It can visually confirm that the person has been detected. It can project a signal onto the ground that says, in effect, "I see you. I am yielding." That is not decoration. That is autonomy entering the social space of traffic. For Detroit, this is uncomfortable because it pushes vehicle design beyond horsepower steel and cabin comfort. The exterior body is no longer just protection and branding. It becomes a digital actor inside the road environment. Map-free autonomy sounds powerful, but it creates one brutal engineering problem. If the vehicle is no longer leaning on a pre-built map, then it must understand the road instantly. That cannot happen in the cloud. In a marketing presentation, cloud-connected driving sounds elegant. The car sees something, sends data outward, waits for remote computation, receives a decision, and then acts. But on a real road, that delay is not elegant. It is dangerous. A child stepping between parked cars, a truck drifting across a lane, or a sudden brake event on a Michigan freeway cannot be handled like a file request. The S7's answer is aggressive edge computing. Its sensor system brings together a long-range LiDAR unit integrated into the roofline 12 high-definition optical sensors and millimeter-wave radar. The point is not just to collect more data. More data is useless if it moves through the vehicle too slowly, so the raw sensor stream bypasses the old slow logic of traditional vehicle networks and moves through high-bandwidth automotive Ethernet toward the local processing core. At the center is Qualcomm's Snapdragon 8295P platform, used as the computational foundation for the vehicle's AI ecosystem. The important part is not the brand name of the chip. The important part is location. The intelligence sits inside the vehicle. It does not need to wait for a clean internet handshake before it evaluates motion distance object behavior and possible trajectories. The system processes LiDAR point clouds, camera feeds, and radar information locally, then converts that data into driving decisions in real time. In other words, the S7 is not behaving like a car that occasionally talks to a server. It is behaving like a rolling computer built to survive disconnected reality. That matters in America. A vehicle moving through rural highways, parking lots, tunnels, mountain roads, or cellular dead zones cannot depend on perfect bandwidth. The road does not pause because the network drops. This is why the edge computing architecture is central to the threat. It removes one of the great weaknesses of connected autonomy: latency. And in autonomous driving, latency is not a technical inconvenience. Latency is distance. Latency is impact. Latency is the space between recognizing danger and becoming part of it. Inside the S7, the same philosophy continues. The cabin is not treated as a place to hide buttons under a larger touchscreen. It is treated as a cognitive control room. This distinction matters because many Western platforms use minimalism as a manufacturing shortcut. Remove physical switches, reduce wiring, simplify assembly, and call the result futuristic. But if the driver has to dig through menus for basic functions, the cabin has not become smarter. It has simply moved the distraction from hardware into software. GAC's approach in the S7 is more ambitious. The center of attention is not just the main display. It is the augmented reality head-up display projected directly into the driver's line of sight. This AR-HUD overlays navigation vectors, hazard markers, and real-time vehicle information onto the visual field ahead. Instead of forcing the driver to look down, refocus on a screen, interpret the data, and then look back up, the system tries to keep the eyes locked toward the horizon. The virtual image is pushed roughly 10 meters ahead of the vehicle, creating the impression that the information exists out on the road, rather than buried inside the dashboard. To make that work, the windshield itself becomes part of the technology stack. The system uses specialized acoustic glass and a calibrated wedge-shaped PVB interlayer to reduce distortion and prevent double imaging. That is not luxury in the old sense. It is optical engineering aimed at reducing cognitive load. For an American driver commuting through California traffic, crossing a complex Dallas interchange, or navigating heavy rain outside Atlanta, the value is not that the dashboard looks clean. The value is that the machine is trying to reduce the mental penalty of modern driving. The cabin is no longer just where the driver sits. It becomes the final interface between human perception and machine intelligence. The S7's technology story does not end with autonomy. Beneath the software layer is another attack on legacy thinking, the traditional combustion drivetrain. For more than a century, the engine was treated as the mechanical heart of the vehicle. It burned fuel, sent torques through a transmission, pushed power through shafts and gears, and finally drove the wheels. That system built the American auto age, but it also carried enormous waste friction, heat loss, shifting loss, inefficient load changes, and constant operation outside the engine's best efficiency zone. The S7's plug-in hybrid architecture takes a different route. Its 1.5-liter turbocharged engine is not primarily treated as a traditional drivetrain hero. It is treated as a high-efficiency generator. In standard operating conditions, the combustion engine is decoupled from the wheels. That matters because an engine connected directly to real driving demand has to deal with chaos, acceleration, hill climbs, traffic braking, and sudden load changes. A generator can be managed more ruthlessly. It can run closer to its ideal thermal window, where fuel is converted into usable energy with far less waste. GAC claims the system exceeds a 44% thermal efficiency threshold. In engineering terms, that is the difference between burning fuel as brute force and extracting fuel as controlled energy. The generator feeds a lithium iron phosphate battery pack supported by an aggressive liquid thermal management system. Cooling fluid is routed through structural areas to pull heat away from the cell matrix under heavy load. This is critical because batteries do not simply need capacity. They need thermal discipline. Heat is the enemy of charging speed, longevity, and safety. That is how the S7 can claim a 30 to 80% charging window in 16.8 minutes, and a combined operating range exceeding 1,150 kilometers. For American buyers used to range anxiety, towing penalties, and charging gaps between cities, this hybrid logic is dangerous. It does not ask drivers to choose between gasoline confidence and electric smoothness. It tries to merge both and remove the mechanical waste in between. But there is a hard limit to every digital system inside a vehicle. Software can calculate, sensors can interpret, processors can react. Yet none of that matters if the body structure fails when real kinetic force enters the frame. This is where the S7's unibody becomes more than a shell. It becomes the physical fortress around the entire digital ecosystem. A modern electrified vehicle is not carrying a simple fuel tank in the rear. It is carrying a dense battery system under the floor surrounded by wiring, thermal channel sensors, and structural electronics. In a severe side impact, the danger is not only cabin deformation, it is mechanical intrusion into the battery zone. The S7 addresses that with a high-tensile steel frame designed to redirect collision energy away from the floor-mounted battery pack. During a lateral crash, the structure is supposed to move force through controlled load paths instead of allowing it to punch directly into the cell area. Extruded aluminum crossmembers become part of that defense. They act like a kinetic buffer, absorbing and redirecting impact energy before it reaches the battery chemistry. In simple terms, the structure is not just trying to keep the passenger space intact. It is trying to keep the electrical heart of the vehicle from being physically violated. That is the deeper engineering lesson. A map-free AI brain, a microLED communication surface, an AR windshield, and a high-efficiency hybrid system all require one thing beneath them: a body strong enough to protect the platform when physics turns violent. The S7 is not just a software story. It is a reminder that the future vehicle is a stack of intelligence, energy, and structure, and if one layer fails, the entire promise collapses. The verdict from the GAC Trumpchi S7 is uncomfortable because it attacks the old definition of premium. For decades, premium in the automotive world meant leather silence, brand history, dealership status, and mechanical refinement. A luxury vehicle was judged by the smoothness of its ride, the weight of its doors, the badge on the hood, and the story behind the company that built it. But the S7 points toward a harsher definition. Premium is becoming processing power. Premium is sensor fusion. Premium is whether the vehicle can understand an unmapped road in real time. Premium is whether it can communicate with pedestrians before confusion becomes danger. Premium is whether the cabin reduces mental load instead of simply removing buttons. Premium is whether the powertrain extracts energy with discipline instead of wasting it through old mechanical habits. That is the real warning for Western automakers. Detroit still has engineering depth. Tesla still has software influence. European brands still have luxury heritage. But heritage does not calculate trajectories. A badge does not eliminate latency. A legacy nameplate does not make a battery cooler, safer, or faster to recharge. If Chinese automakers continue turning vehicles into integrated computing platforms, the pressure on the US market will not come only from cheaper cars. It will come from a different definition of what a car is supposed to be. The GAC S7 is not the end of the Western auto industry, but it is a signal that the battlefield has moved. The next war will not be fought only in horsepower, range, or design. It will be fought in real-time perception, local computing, thermal efficiency, and the ability to make the machine understand the road before the old system can even find it on a map.